Whew. Oh, man. Oh, sorry, guys. I guess it's been a while. Yeah, so, wait, what was I talking about? Ow! Son of a bitch bastard!
Oh, right.
Make-believe. This album. This album. This album. Allow me to explain.
People, I can't even begin to express how much I despise this album. I won't even mince words here. I hate it. I hate it more than Axl Rose hates Slash. I hate it more than Lars Ulrich hated Napster. I hate it more than a libertarian hates the Fed. Ron Paul, man!
But you know, I'll admit, just because I, or anyone else for that matter, doesn't personally like an album, that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad or inferior or anything like that.
Some people, for example, would say that Dave Matthews has written some of the best music ever. While many others would say that listening to Dave Matthews makes them want to run over hippies in a giant tour. Neither side is particularly right or wrong, it all just boils down to a matter of opinion.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what music is ultimately about, isn't it? Personal taste. I mean, I can sit here and rant and rave about how, God, blisteringly awful this album is. And believe me, I will. But here's the thing, if this album speaks to you directly, if there's a personal connection you have with this music that no one else has, then I got nothing on you. Seriously, not a damn thing. Music is a very relative experience. I mean, it's different for all of us. Beauty is in the ear of the beholder here. I mean, you know what, this album has plenty of defenders, and I'll even go on record and say there are a few decent tracks on here. But this album and I, here's the thing. We have a history.
This album came out in 2005, when I was roughly a junior in college. I was living in a dormitory at the time.
That's a Scotsman!
Whoa, 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 calm down there. If they didn't go there, then they have no...
That's a Scotsman!
Anyway, I would often hang out or study in the lobby. As weird as this may sound, at my alma mater, where this actually exists, it was a decent place to relax and socialize. And whoever was working the lobby's front desk would usually pump some kind of tunes in through the sound system. It was pretty good.
It was a pretty nice setup we had over there. But somebody, God help me if I ever figure out who, but somebody would play this album on a loop constantly over and 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 over again. I hated Perfect Situation the first time I heard it. Imagine what it sounded like on the 786th time!
There we go. Dude, I'm sorry, but can you please play something else? I'm You wrong with Weezer? No, dude, I love Weezer. It's just... Can't you play some Biggerton or something? Come on. Get it. take that. I don't bet. 5-4. 5-4. My favorite part. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Whoa, whoa.
Oh my God. I really did listen to Weezer in college. Ew!
Actually, since I brought it up, let's go ahead and start there. It's as good a place as any. To me, this song serves as a general representation of why this album is so reprehensible.
You see, it tricks you. And I'm not talking about subliminal messages or backmasking or any of that bullshit.
I mean, a lot of the songs on this album start off pretty well. I mean, hell, listen to that opening riff. Yeah, even my cold, jaded, death clock-loving heart can get behind this kick-ass opening crescendo. Yeah!
And that's the thing. The way this album just hooks you in with these soaring, anthematic opening riffs, it just grabs you by the horns and makes you want to listen to what the rest of the track is going to sound like.
What's the deal with my brain? Why am I so obviously insane? In a perfect
Oh, that's what it was leading up to?
I let love down the drain.
Oh, okay. Kind of bland, but you still got my attention.
Can't get no play from the girls all around.
Ah, here we go. The chorus. Alright, Rivers, I'm with you, buddy. I'm ready to chant. I'm ready to sing. Give me something to shout, buddy. Just let it rip. Come on, what do you got? No, seriously, Rivers, what do you want me to sing? Oh my God, you forgot to write a chorus, didn't you?
And what comes after that? The same plodding 3-chord verse. Ugh. But hey, maybe the second time through is where the chorus actually kicks in. I mean, there are songs that do that, leave out parts or even the whole of the chorus the first time through, so that once it actually does come, it packs twice as much of a punch. You know, so maybe they're just trying to pull that and, deliver something extra powerful so that... Nope, they just forgot to write a chorus.
And that's it. Apart from a decent solo in the bridge, that's all this song amounts to. I mean, even the most simple rock songs follow a verse, chorus, verse progression, and it's pretty standard. But this is the only song I've seen that actually tries to do a verse progression. Oh, excuse me. A verse progression.
There are other songs on the record that pull this little trick too. We Are All on Drugs, for example. It opens strong, but falls flat the very second the verse kicks in. And This Is Such a Pity? That also has an interesting lead-in, with its eclectic mix of keyboards and guitar noodling? Until you realize that this catchy little intro is, in reality, the whole fucking song!
Yeah, those catchy keys at the beginning? Yeah, they get real old at the 3-minute mark. Oh, and that nice little guitar progression, C sharp minor, B, E, A flat minor. I hope you really, really like it, because it almost never changes throughout the entire goddamn song!
Not that there's anything wrong with simplicity. Hell, some of the greatest songs ever written hold to a very basic, fundamental structure. I mean, the Ramones practically made an entire career out of that. I'm not knocking simplicity here. Let's just put this album into context for a bit. For the band to release this boring, boilerplate, by-the-numbers, baloney sandwich of an album immediately after the groove-laden, experimental, joyfully raucous $5 footlong that was Maladroit, it just blows my freaking mind. It's like finding out that the $5 footlong wasn't really... Oh wait, that actually happened. Maladroit is an eclectic eclectic grab bag of interesting tunes. It has funk, Britpop influences, full-blown punk songs. It plays around with different styles, different arrangements, different tones, different everything. Yowza! Woo-hoo!
Most of the songs on Make Believe, by comparison, don't even use more than 3 or 4 basic chords.
Despite a decent lead part or a solo here or there, there's almost nothing sonically interesting going on. This is such a pity. 4 chords. Perfect situation. 3 chords. And peace?
2 chords! Here, let me show you. Play C, play an A minor, and you've got practically the whole fucking song, Neil! God damn it! And yes, I know they mix things up a little in the bridge, but that doesn't even come in until the 2-minute mark, and this song is less than 4! Yawn!
Maybe I'd be more forgiving of this album if I didn't have to compare it to their previous effort, but these 2 records represent such a drastic leap in style that it's impossible for me to ignore. While Maladroit's roster was varied and interesting, the tracks from Make Believe are bland, uninspired, and they really kind of run together. This whole album just feels doughy and soft and inconsequential, just like me in high school.
Everything on this album is either a mid-tempo slog or a slow-as-molasses ambient ballad.
You know, it takes some bands years to fuck up their sound this royally. But Weezer, hell, they did it over 1 album.
While I wouldn't call Maladroit Weezer's best album, I would say it is one of their most well-balanced, mixing in a lot of new structures and new influences without alienating us too much from the sound that we already knew and loved.
In my book, Maladroit falls in just the right space between familiar and different to keep it interesting and endearing. So when you release something like Make Believe immediately after it, well, it's like dropping a fat kid on a seesaw.
You okay, buddy?
I broke my tip nose.
If you think the music is bad, just wait until you hear some of the lyrics.
I mentioned in the last episode that Weezer's lyrics tend to go for more of an emotional appeal, rather than making any kind of blunt force statement. Now, there isn't anything wrong with this approach, and as albums like Pinkerton have shown us, it can actually be a damn effective way to craft music. One of the problems that their last few albums had, though, was a lack of feeling and earnestness. As catchy as Hash Pipe is, yeah, it doesn't exactly tug at your heartstrings.
And believe it or not, it sounds like Weezer actually tried to remedy that problem on this album. Seriously, there aren't really a lot of those goofy, nonsensical, tongue-in-cheeky songs like Undone or Hash Pipe. This album is pretty much all serious. All serious, all the time. Serious. Seriously serious. They should name their band Weezerious, they're so serious. Okay, I'm done.
Which isn't really a bad idea. On paper, at least. I mean, Pinkerton was written pretty much in the same way, and it turned out well. Maybe this will be the album in which Weezer finally stops dicking around and shows us that they've matured and are ready to start.
I am terrified of all things, frightened of the dark.
Nope, they're still just dicking around.
Seriously? That's how you want to start your ballad? That's how you want to win affection for your song's protagonist? A cluophobia? Okay, I'm sorry, but unless this song is being written by a 6-year-old, or possibly the guy from Amnesia: The Dark Descent, I have no empathy for this character. And yes, it is possible to write an achingly painful song about panic and inner turmoil, but trust me, The National...
I'm afraid of everyone.
Yeah, this is not.
really, that's the biggest problem with the slow jams on this record. I mean, if you're going to write a ballad, it's only going to be effective if we feel for the protagonist. If you're going to sacrifice all sense of energy, vitality, pacing, in an attempt to write, soul-stirring slow jam, then you better make sure your slow jam has a hell of an emotional impact to back it up.
An effective ballad needs to make us feel what the lyrics are telling us to feel. Sweeping affection, crushing heartache, relentless desperation. Ballads and slower songs tend to deal with huge emotions like love and fear to pique the interest of the listener. If you can't dance to it or mosh to it, then all you have to carry the song is the weight of the topic you're singing about.
And what kind of weight do the slow jams on Make Believe have?
You came out of nowhere, man. You really freak me out. I'm so afraid of you. And
Songs about being stuck.
You know what pisses me off about this song? It could have worked. The tune is pretty enough. The harmonically plucked guitar is a nice touch. All this needed was a good lyrical theme to accentuate the tone the music was creating. It didn't even need to be lofty or thought-provoking, just something, anything at all. The music screams of ache and longing, but the lyrics are so vapid it completely demolishes any sense of ennui, and the song just falls apart. I mean, listen closely. This is the sound a good song makes when it's dying. Oh my god! He didn't even have enough lines to fill the verse! Did you fucking hear that? Sweet God, how does anyone like this album?
Look, everyone loved those old Strong Bad emails from way back in the day, but that doesn't give you permission to take songwriting cues from Limousine.
No, you know what? I'd honestly rather listen to Limousine than this ballless dreck. At least Limousine is supposed to be ridiculous.
And it's not just the slow songs that suffer because of this half-assed approach to lyricism. Let's go back to Perfect Situation for a moment.
but I just can't get no play from the girls all around as they search the night for someone to hold on to. Just pass through.
Oh, boo fucking who. This is more whiny and self-loathing than a Twilight fan club meeting after the cheesecake runs out. Seriously, dude, even Larry David doesn't hate himself this much. Lance Armstrong has more dignity than you right now. Hell, at least he has a valid reason to be depressed.
Though I can't satisfy all the needs she has, and so she starts to wonder. Can you blame her?
No. No, I can't.
Because if there's one thing the ladies love, it's a guy who whines like a broken air conditioner with an affinity for ink.
Here's another good example. These lyrics are barely even cohesive. Ooh, me no like hate. We should love. Me like love, love. This is what a Cyndi Lauper song would sound like if she'd suffered severe head trauma. So it's basically just a Debbie Gibson song.
When you're out with your friends in your new Mercedes-Benz and you're on drugs.
Mercedes-Benz? You know, most of the guys I know who are on drugs don't drive Mercedes. The guys who sell drugs? Sure, not really the guys who use them. Fun fact about this song. They had to edit it for MTV and radio play, so they cut another version of it called We Are All in Love, and just replaced the word drugs with the word love. And you know what that actually changes about the meaning of the song? Absolutely fucking nothing! Your song has to be monumentally insubstantial when you can replace love with drugs, and absolutely nothing about it changes. Being in love and being on drugs are two very different things, despite what Kesha may tell you.
I've been sitting here talking on and on and on about how awful, so awful this album is. You want to know the sad part, though? The really sad part? We haven't even begun to see the worst of this album. We haven't even scraped the bottom of the barrel yet. There is one more song that I've been dancing around for this entire video. A song that's so foul, so terrible, so indicative of everything that Weezer should not be, that I haven't even been able to bring myself to talk about it yet. A terrible song. Probably the worst they've ever recorded. A song that completely changed the dynamic of the band for most fans. A song that pretty much stamps in stone the end of the greatness that was Weezer. Wouldn't you know it? It's the very first track on the album!
Single, Keep Fishing. Bouncy beat, flashy bass, jumpy guitars, it instantly gets you excited. Away from each other. They almost sound like they're from two different bands. Or perhaps the same band if they'd been recording their work in a building with a severe gas leak. Everything about this song sounds awkward and forced. The lyrics have no rhyming scheme and don't seem to even fit in the structure of the verse. It feels like Rivers is just making this shit up as he goes along.
I didn't go to boarding schools. Preppy girls never looked at me. Why should they? I ain't nobody, got nothing in my pocket.
Just listen to them. So whiny and self-absorbed and vacuous. Not to mention extremely disingenuous, given that by this point in their careers, Weezer were millionaires that were doing everything that they talk about in the song. Fucking 1%. Jesus, look at them! They're cavorting with Playboy bunnies, for God's sake!
Call me cynical, but it's hard for me to feel sympathetic towards your plight when in your video you're practically getting a handjob from Miss February.
Is I don't stand a chance. It's something that you're born into, and I just don't belong.
Your band came up from the LA scene during a time when grunge and angst were the only things selling. Despite that, you stuck true to your nerdy, ne'er-do-well nature and made the music that you wanted to make regardless of whether or not there was a market for it. And in only a few short years, you were able to score a record deal with a venerable producer and create a series of albums that not only held up mostly well upon their initial release, but would get even better with the passage of time and would go on to inspire a slew of other artists who might have been too nerdy or too awkward to make a break for it in previous generations, permanently cementing your names into the foundation of modern rock, creating a legacy that is entirely built on the concept that you don't have to be Axl Rose or Dave Mustaine to be a rock god, that is room at the top for everyone as long as they have the drive, power, creativity, and integrity to make the music that they love for the best of their ability, regardless of the circumstances that lay before them.
And you put this line into one of your songs? Your entire career is proof that this does not exist! What the flying fuck are you doing? You want to know the best part? Yeah, the best part? Some people will defend this song, saying that, oh, no, this is a positive song. Positive! Just listen to that last line in that last verse. That's so positive. Just listen to it. Oh, you might as well enjoy your life and watch the stars fade because you've clearly grown out of that immature, materialistic, nonsensical mindset? Oh boy, howdy, let me tell you, that is bullshit on toast!
I'd almost believe it if the music changed to reflect something a bit more hopeful, or if Rivers sang those lines in a bit more of an upbeat vibrato. Or if he'd spent, I don't know, longer than an eighth of a freaking verse explaining this?
That line was probably thrown in at the last minute for kicks. Or maybe because Rivers just couldn't get away with using another onomatopoeia as a fucking song lyric. That's the thing. This song, really listen to it. It's not a uplifting, be yourself kind of empowering tune. This song is a fucking suicide note! I promise you, the protagonist of this song is hanging by his neck in his fucking closet.
Scenario number 1. He's hanging by his neck in his fucking closet.
And Beverly Hills is the rotten cherry resting on top of the shit sundae that is this album. People, I'm sorry, but it's dull, it's depressing, it's dismal as all hell, it's lazily written, played, and sung, and it's just...
It won them their first Grammy nomination, and Rivers considers it one of his proudest musical achievements.